So this time we're using a Zhongli deck with a double Geo for Geo Resonance, and we're using Gorou as a support buff for Geo. At the same time, we're using different cards, new cards that can be used for Zhongli, such as DECKLIST. Since I think DECKLIST will be a great card for a character that needs equipment like the Tenacity and the Vortex Puncture. So let's go, and for this round we will start by summoning with Raiden, and I think I'm gonna use Paimon to ram, and the last dice will be used for DECKLIST and Gamblers. The Gamblers will be equipped on Gorou since we want Tenacity to be equipped on Zhongli. So that will end my turn, and opponent's deck is probably a variation of a Monasara Venti, but instead of Venti, opponents uses Sayu, since Sayu I think can be a draw power for this world Sayu created when equipped with talent. Anyway, moving forward for our next round or this second round, let's try to make Raiden burst, and I think since we have enough dice, we can also equip the Tenacity. For next round, Zhongli will be having shield. So this is it. And since we successfully did a Raiden burst, we can now switch to Gorou. But don't forget to use the DECKLIST so that we will have additional dice next round. So I'm gonna cast now the DECKLIST, then gonna switch to Gorou. Oh, the 3 dice can be used for equipping the Tenacity for Zhongli to have a shield by next round. Then we can use the Arcane card to equip Vortex Vanquisher for additional damage next round. Okay, so with that, I can do Gorou burst next round, and I think we can shield Zhongli since opponent keeps on doing Electro Charge, piercing damage. Okay. So now I'm gonna burst with Gorou, and with that we will have a Crystallize and a buff for Geo. So I think we can also now switch to Zhongli and equip the Vortex Puncture for additional damage. So I didn't use the Leave It To Me since I need to tune cards, and I don't want to tune the Tenshokaku since it will give us Omni dice every round if we have 5 different dice. So I think I'm gonna equip first here. So the Arcane, and then followed by Vortex Puncture, and then tuning the Leave It To Me, and then doing a shield, dealing 6 damage. See? That's almost like an Ito charge attack. Okay, for the remaining dice, we can use it for the Tenshokaku and the Pizza for Zhongli. I think I will receive again additional piercing damage on side characters, and since opponent can burst with Sarah, that will deal big damage, dealing again piercing damage on Gorou and Raiden. Luckily we got a Geo Resonance, and we can also burst or stop or petrify one character. Probably I will use it on Sayo, since Sayo has the highest HP remaining. And I think since opponent didn't switch, I'm gonna fast swap with Gorou, and with that killing Sarah while having to Omni Dice again from Gamblers. And I think if that happens, opponent will now switch to Sayo, since switching to Mona will be a loss for opponent. So I'm gonna switch back to Zhongli and gonna do a burst. So once I did the burst, that's 6 damage. It will be additional if we somehow retain some shields, but well, that happened. And although I want to tune cards, we don't have enough cards to do the 5 cost skill of Zhongli. So opponent having shield to protect Mona, so I'm gonna switch to Gorou. And since we don't want Zhongli to tank damage, although piercing damage is unavoidable now since opponent will do an easy again, dealing piercing damage to Raiden and Zhongli, killing Gorou and Raiden. So luckily we got enough dice to trigger Tenshokaku, and Mona will have unexpected. I thought opponent's running a Kuba card. Arcane. Yeah. Also, I think opponent's deck is a Mona Hypercarry, which is something new for me also, since we don't usually use talent card for Mona. See? That's first time I received such high damage on Mona, but luckily we're on advantage and we will now kill Mona. The opponent can gain dice, we can easily kill it and don't proc the tenacity. That's GG. So I will just do a normal attack and kill inside. Well, that's it, and hope you like this video. Bye.